So moving on to the next topic, Jay, you and Jason kind of got into it a little bit. There's not much to be done on the field. The Greenbrier was pretty much for team chemistry, team bonding, and breaking up the everyday of way how you do things. Is there an impact to be had on a team overall for the season for that early time spent out there?
I think so. Whether or not they captured it, I don't know. But
it's team bonding. It's day camp. It's whatever you want to call it. Kumbaya. It's everyone just.
But it can work.
It can work.
I mean, you weren't here Friday when I talked about, or was this? It was maybe last Monday because I was off Friday. Last Monday, I talked about how the Bucks, after having really good teams and beating their heads against the wall with the same results, training at the University of Tampa, decided they were going to move it to Disney, and the whole vibe changed.
Yeah.
And they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And I'm not for a second suggesting that that's the move that did it.
Greenbrier wins the Super Bowl.
But when Gruden came in, there was a new sheriff in town. There was a lot of yelling and screaming where Tony was doing a lot of whispering and backpatting. It got real, and it got real quickly. And there was some bonding that took place. How much that played into the Bucks winning the Super Bowl, I'm going to run into Rondé Barber. We're doing our 5 o'clock show at Canton all week this week. So I'm sure I'll talk to Rondé. I'll ask Rondé that question. What difference did it make moving camp to Disney?
Yeah.
And what impact in the grand scheme of things did that have on team building, if any? I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those immeasurables that it can't hurt. Well, I guess it could, but usually it helps. To what degree, it's hard to quantify, but it gets people. I mean, it's as simple as when I took the Little League team and we all went to main event and they all spent time together. And It's just that cohesion, being together, being a unit at the Greenbrier.
It really works at that level.
Well, yeah, it for sure works at that level.
Yeah,
but at the Greenbrier, it's a glorified prison. They can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It's a really rich prison.
Were they all without cars, or did they all drive themselves there?
No, they flew.
So they all flew as a
there.
team. So they were all without cars.
Yeah, the team flew there.
That's
I'm sure they could take Ubers and leave if they wanted to.
Right.
I think they were done for the day around 7 p.m. is all the meetings were over with. Some guys were saying that they were done around 5. Other guys were done around 7. And so they had a little downtime in the evening. But for the most part, they were there. They were all locked in together.
It works. Like we used to do, like in college, we used to always. So when you, and I'm guessing it's like that in the league, everything is so specialized. Everything is so individualized. So I'm just with defensive linemen, right? But sometimes it got broke down. Defensive ends and defensive tackles was in units. So they would only be with defensive tackles. And you very rarely even saw the head coach. The head coach.
So your group was 4 or 5
it's
people
4 or 5
that you were
people
interacting
at
with.
all times. You lifted with those people. You ate. So what we did is after we went 1-10, right? Like people were just like, it was bad. Like the morale, people hated each other. Like it was not hating each other, but it was like, man, like you go 1-10, that's like crazy. It's just
Losing's
a shot.
miserable.
It's a shot to get you. Like when somebody said, did you? When somebody like Imani Bay said he lost his love for the game, I said, boy, I lost my love for the game every other week at OU because especially if you come from somewhere where you win a lot. And a lot of these kids, right, come from programs they've never lost. They coming from Oklahoma's and Ohio State to Texas and all that stuff. So what we did is we got the offensive line and the defensive line, right? And because we're the trenches. We need to come together. And generally speaking, there's a mix, right? Most of the defensive linemen are black. Most of the offensive linemen are white. So what we did is every single Friday we would pick a different place where we would all go eat. Like,
oh wow!
Every Friday we would. One day is KFC, Chinese buffet spot. So everybody individually got to pick it throughout the season. And so what we started doing is we started doing that in the off season. So it wasn't just on the road. We started doing that like when football season, we in spring ball. And what we found was
it grows your group.
Yeah, really. We didn't panic. It wasn't if somebody made a mistake, it wasn't crazy or nothing like that. But it showed like in times where you may be down some points or you may need a score. It wasn't like, oh, it's the offense versus the defense. Like we was all pulling together. And there's a couple of games I think we wouldn't have won if we wouldn't have had that kind of camaraderie. So it can work. It's just about whether or not people commit to it. Because some people are going to say, oh, that's cheesy and corny. Just throw me the football and I'll get a touchdown, and we'll be all right.
Right.
But
It's kind of like when we took Chris Haynes and made him do white people things when he was on the Cavs beat. We would
oh,
go,
for real? That's great. You got to.
We'd go to Oklahoma City, listen to grunge music, and throw darts.
Right. Like,
we made him do all kinds of white people things.
Right. But y'all be adventurous too. Y'all be having, y'all do some stuff. You be like, man, they were like. So I'm gonna take my aunts. My aunts is getting old. I'm gonna have an aunts weekend at my house, and I'm gonna take them to a panic room. Now, black people don't like being. When I say panic, they're like, no, we don't go to that. I said they lock you in a room. No, we're not gonna go to that. I had to convince them. They will let you out. There's a person there. They are not trying to put us back in slavery. We ready. It's okay. We can leave.
I can understand the apprehension, especially for older folks.
They're civil rights people. Like, whoa.
I mean, they saw things.
They was like, no. But so out of there, we try to get them out of their comfort zone.
Did you do that with them yet?
No, it's next week. It's coming
please
up.
tape that.
Yeah, they don't know it's all for the internet. It's all content. Y'all don't even know that.
My hope is that they come together as a group. I think that one of the things that I'm really anxious to see. Oh, did you notice a difference in Stefanski at all? Same guy.
Nope.
I tried to ask him 3 times. He said no.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Same dude.
It's interesting.
Same guy.
Because I know a lot of coaches do sort of self-inspect.
Yeah.
After a year, he's had 2 really down years.
Yeah.
And I would think that at some point it's human nature. You have to, when hitters aren't hitting, they look at tape. What am I doing?
Yeah.
When pitchers are losing command, what am I doing? So I would think there's been a period of self-inspection.
Oh, for sure. I'm sure there has been,
And
yes.
I was wondering, had it manifested itself in anything that you saw?
He's let his guard down around the media a little bit more than he ever did in the past. In terms of coaching, I think he's the same. The difference is going to come in the playbook and the plays that they run with Deshaun, a full offseason now, no more distractions.
And we won't know that till
That's
the
exactly
end of
right.
September.
That's exactly
Really.
right. So, but in terms of who he is who he is. He's comfortable in who he is, and he's not going to change. And he's still going to give the same bland answers from the podium that he's always given. But behind the scenes, him and Andrew both have just let their guard down a little bit more around the media and with the media.
Do you think that's a good thing?
I think it's a very good thing.
I
I've
do
been
too.
telling them for years that they need to do that.
I had felt from a distance, not being a beat reporter and covering the team every day, just being an observer of media relations and interaction between media and particularly the brass of the team,
Yeah.
but also the players, because oftentimes the way the players interact with the media is an extension of what the coaches and general
Sure.
managers do.
Yeah.
And I've always thought, with this regime, why the curtain?
Yeah.
Like, I covered Bill Parcells' Patriots way back in the day. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I was seeing more there
Yeah.
than I was with this regime here with the Browns,
Yeah.
which is kind of weird.
Yeah. So that part is different for sure. But in on-field stuff, listen, if Deshaun plays well, they're going to win. If he doesn't, they're not.
And
They
that's
won't.
it.
And it's really, I hate to oversimplify things, but it really comes down to that.
Well,
if
how'd
he
he
plays, he was fine. Like he was fine. I've
Just fine.
Yeah,
Like,
he's again, it was really one practice. I think he's looked good. I have no doubt that he can be good. The question is whether or not he can be great again. He's certainly better than anything they've had. He's going to be good.
Can I float something that was told to me by a longtime NFL insider, who it's more opinion based. It's a theory, and it's a concern of Deshaun's. And I wanted to talk to you about it and some other people about this to see if this is either a general consensus or if this is one guy's brain going sideways. His biggest fear with Deshaun is that the league is a league. It's like baseball. It really is. When a rookie hitter comes in and tears the cover off the ball, it's really all about year 2.
Yeah.
Because now the adjustments are made. And this theory is that the kind of quarterback he is, you can make adjustments to stop that, and there's a recent track record of that being proven. And as examples, RG3 was his main example. And I said, you really can't throw RG3 in there. He had a terrible injury.
Right.
And he quickly pointed out that, so has Deshaun Watson, a similar injury. So I don't know if I buy into that. I don't know how much credence to give that. But The point was, even a guy like Kyler Murray, who had a lot of success and then looked completely pedestrian last year. I think he also brought up Russell Wilson. I immediately countered Russell's getting old.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said the league also figured out what Russell was. And when you figure out what a guy goes to, what his thing is, and you game plan to take that away, now you're saying, do you have a second tool in your box? And his question was, does Deshaun have that second tool in his box to be a pure pocket passer without the threat to run?
Well, I don't know that they – so that's interesting. Like, there's a lot to unpack there. I don't know that he'll ever be a true pocket passer. I don't know if the Browns want him to be a true pocket passer.
I think they want him to be a pocket passer first.
But, well, here's what they want.
Because you have to be.
Here's what they want. They don't want him being Jalen Hurts. I know for a fact they don't want Jalen Hurts. They don't want to expose him to more hits and injuries.
Right.
Because, like you said, he's already got a long history with knee injuries. So they're trying to protect him, but while also understanding and acknowledging his mobility is one of his best tools and threats and being able to keep a play alive. When he sort of goes into baller mode is when good things can happen, but he has to have the receivers to match that. And they didn't have that last year.
Right.
They felt like they didn't have the personnel. If a play breaks down and now you need 4 to go make a play, you need the receivers on the back end to be able to adjust and freelance, break off a route, get open.
Right.
And they didn't have that.
It's funny, when Lamar Jackson had that, he was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
And when he didn't,
He wasn't.
but also it should be pointed out that he mentioned Lamar Jackson as a guy that, well, the league knows what he does now.
Yeah.
Well,
And they're stopping it.
Here's what real quick, and then I'll let you go. I don't think the Kyler thing is a fair comparison. Deshaun has a long record of success, longer than Kyler did, and we all know about why he missed the full year in Houston, and the 6 games last year were awful. I think we have to throw those 6 games out. You look back at his full body work. Now, having said that, I did talk to other people, and we've talked about on the show, who felt like he may never get back to that level. That's a real concern.
Did they hypothesize why?
No, just the fact that when you miss that much time, it's hard. It's not impossible.
Oh, I see.
But it's hard. It's just hard to get back to what you were. Doesn't mean he can't happen, but there's a lot of work for him to do in front of him. I think he'll be good. And I think we're going to talk about on the show tomorrow. Mike Sando, another colleague of mine at The Athletic, his tears came out today, his quarterback tears.
Don't give it away. We can sell it tomorrow. Don't give it away.
Okay. Deshaun is in. I don't know. Did that go over the air or just my ear?
And I think that was just to you.
Oh, all right.
So the pause was, don't give
Don't
away.
give it
That's
away.
exactly what he said.
We can sell that tomorrow.
Yeah. So I thought that went out over the
Can we
air.
at least know which tier he in?
No.
Well, we can still debate it tomorrow. I mean,
Here's what I
we
can
don't
tell
have to
you.
dive into whether or not it's accurate today.
Here's
but,
what we'll say.
I mean, for the sake of this discussion, I think it's worthy.
So Sando talks to GMs, defensive coaches.
Right.
It's a wide net that he casts. This is not Mike's opinions.
Sure.
This is the cumulative of all the people around the league. Deshaun is no longer elite. He is not in that elite category.
Which doesn't surprise me.
No.
at all.
Is that fair? Do you want me to say that and leave it there?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I don't think that's breaking news. When you see ESPN does the same thing, NFL
Yeah.
Network does the same thing,
Yeah.
no one has him as elite. Look, guys, we always discuss, the definition of elite. And you start saying, well, I know it when I see it. Well, elite, by definition, means you're better than the pack.
Yeah.
So, is it 3 guys? Is it 5 guys?
Yeah.
I tend to think that if you're in the top 10% of something, that qualifies you as elite.
Yeah.
Which means there's only 3 elite quarterbacks in
Right.
the NFL.
Right.
I think, and so I don't know that he was ever in that category.
Before we transition, I'll say that to the mobile thing aspect of, do you want him to be a complete pocket passer? Well, if you look at the best quarterbacks in the league, none of them are complete pocket passers. Patrick Mahomes is the top of the food chain at improvising, getting downfield. Josh Allen is their best runner.
Well, Brady, though, I know he's no longer in the league as of this year, but
Yes, that was the new wave. Joe Burrow, he's a mover. If you ask me what the best, what the 3 best quarterbacks are, I would, or 4 or 5. I go top 5. All 5 of those dudes are mobile.
Yeah.
You got Mahomes. You got you got Burrow. You got
Josh
Allen. You got Justin Herbert. You could put. I mean, even guys like there's no statues that are top of the food
the
chain.
days of Peyton Manning and
So
Tom Brady just
Those are
standing
gone.
back there and slinging the
is
ball.
it fair that you can say right now that Deshaun Watson is not an elite? Sure, if you were to say based on his last sample size and him not being out there, you got to show it what it is. I will say this though, I don't think that there's any barrier for him to get back to that point. I think it's just about the repetitions and how he's going to look when he links up with Kevin Stefanski. Can he get there? Sure. I'm actually glad the fact that the people have him at like 6 or 7.
I would
or
rather he be
45.
there too.
I'd rather him start off low, because if he was high, then we would have crazy expectations. But mine is already high. 4,700 yards, 49 touchdowns for Deshaun Watson. Earl, what do you got?
Purple Kool-Aid, man.